there was a solid 3-month period in my life where I spent every single day alone in a windowless room. And what I've learned from that is, for one, it's not good for you. I can tell you that for sure. That's it's no joke. It's not for the weak. But two, you learn so much about yourself, and you also lose your mind. I guess a good way to say this is I lost my mind, but I found myself. During that period, I was very, very messed up. I got arrested at one point and threw me into a downward spiral. And I just quickly started isolating myself from everyone because I felt so much shame from getting arrested. And I didn't do anything bad. It was possession of marijuana, okay? Give me a break. And I felt so ashamed of it that I just started avoiding people. I would stay awake at night just to avoid people. And I would lock myself in that room all day, getting to the point of just actually pissing in bottles and eating canned beans just so I didn't have to see people. It was bad. It was really bad. But during all that time, I just spent a lot of time alone. And when you spend a lot of time alone, you generally start to introspect a little bit. You look inside yourself and you start to see all these contradictions and cognitive dissonances you have going on. And personally, I still spend a lot of time alone nowadays, and it's not even a bad thing. I've come a long, long way from there. But you start to realize there's something deeper under the surface. A lot of times we think about what we are, like, oh, I'm this, I play soccer, oh, I'm a mechanic, oh, I'm an academic. These are all external things. Like, that's not who you are. It might be what you physically are, but underneath the surface, there's something much, much more than that. Because, I spend a lot of time like meditating and stuff like that as well. And that's when you truly are by yourself. Because a lot of times when people are like, oh, I spend all my time by myself, they'll be watching videos and stuff like that. Watching videos, yes, you're by yourself, but it's a parasocial relationship. So you're still kind of in the presence of someone else. Not really, but you're not truly alone. And honestly, I think a lot of people have never spent a significant period of time within themselves. But the second you start looking at all your inner workings and how your gears work and how you process things and how you think about things and these redundant thought loops you have, you start to realize it's all wrong. And when you realize it's all wrong, you got to figure out how to fix it. And that's when you have to start learning how to control your thoughts a little bit. Because if you guys didn't know, I hope you know this, but if you don't, you can actually control what thoughts you have coming into your head. Because obviously your thoughts come from nowhere, right? They just show up. And that you don't really pick the thoughts you have, right? But you do in a different way. The way I look at it is your thoughts are kind of just getting fed from your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the majority of you. We live very much in the conscious, ego type of mind. But the reality is the majority of you is in the subconscious. Your memories, those feelings you have suppressed, all these things are in the subconscious mind. And they come up to you and they release thoughts into your mind for you to pick and choose from. And that's the key point right there. Pick and choose from. You have to pick the right thoughts. You have to let the ones that you don't want go away. You just have to let them pass by. Because once you start letting them pass by, they'll just start showing up less and less and less. And once you do that enough, they're just gone. I mean, I've had very, very troublesome thought patterns in my lifetime. And I've gotten rid of them pretty much completely. And the scarier thing about that is once you realize you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions as well. And I'm by no means flawless at this yet, but you can get to a point where you're highly effective. I have a list of 10 things I do every day. All the way from meditation, journaling, going on a daily walk, working out, working on videos for 6 hours a day. There's more than that, but you get the point. It's like I do most of these things every single day now. And it's not even that hard anymore. And a lot of these things, I'll tell people to do it and they'll be taken aback. They're like, I can't even meditate for 2 minutes. I'm not good at it. I'm like, well, you just got to practice. That's besides the point. It's just once you start controlling your thoughts, you control your reality. That's the secret to life. That's the most important thing ever. And I personally still have some very dangerous thought patterns. I mean, we all do. So when I say I have dangerous thought patterns, don't take that in the wrong way. Because you have dangerous thought patterns, I have dangerous thought patterns. I mean, like a dangerous thought pattern to me is like the idea that you wanna eat junk food all day instead of eating healthy. That's a bad thought pattern. It's a bad impulse. An impulse is nothing but a thought that you actually take action on that has a addictive dopamine reward circuit type push to it. And so the thing is once you disintegrate most of these bad thoughts and most of these bad patterns, you're left with nothing but the good. And have you ever seen like those types of people who are just like glowing, just constantly like peppy and happy. A lot of times they're born like that. And when I say born like that, they're just raised in a good family. But, most of us weren't lucky enough to have that. So you have to do this. I know too many people who have so many sorts of trauma and they don't take care of it. And the only time you can take care of it is alone, because honestly, no one else is going to fix it for you. I could talk to you all day. I could give you some ideas. I could reflect back to you some things. But the reality is it's all coming out of your head. I mean, you have these little microcosm things that might be affecting you that I can't help you with. No one can help you with. I mean, for example, I'm going to give something very, very odd and personal. But for me, like I said, when I was in that very dark place, isolating myself for a few months on end, avoiding people, I would avoid going to the bathroom as long as I could because I didn't want to go see people. So I wouldn't want to leave my room. And nowadays, I'm way past that, obviously, but I can still feel the micro pull towards that, like the hesitation to go, which, it's still there a little bit. I think I'm going to get to a point here soon where it's completely gone. But I'm starting from a very bad place, and I'm very much happy with where I'm at now. So the thing is like anyone can truly get where they want to be. It's just you got to work at it day in, day out, journal, meditate, really figure out how your mind works and figure out how to program it to the way you want it. Because let's be honest, no one really wants to be unhealthy and unmotivated and depressed and sad and not getting what they want. Because let's be honest, if you don't do the things that you need to do, you're not going to get what you want. Unless you're lucky and someone gives you everything. Most of us don't have that privilege. So you got to spend time alone. Because I don't know you like you do. And even at some points, you might even look back and you might start getting suppressed memories. I mean, even just saying that kind of triggers me a little bit on it. And those are the places you need to be. Because oftentimes those suppressed memories are in association with dissociating during the actual experience. Like, let's say as a kid you were beaten or something. You would dissociate. You would separate yourself from the experience because it's just so unpleasant. But when you separate yourself, it goes unprocessed. And so it just sits underneath you pretty much, lying dormant in your subconscious. And it feeds into your negative thoughts and it feeds into all these bad things. And then people start to wonder why they're so self-destructive, but it's because there's this broken child inside themselves that's crying out to be helped, and they don't understand how to interact with it. I know that's a very kind of confusing concept, but there's very much a certain part of yourself that is broken and fractured and not been made whole. And you gotta find every single piece of that and put it together. And there's only one way to do that. And that's alone.